an old world charm, but it has a high-tech feature, and that's this sort of flock suede effect, which, you know, a lot of people think, ooh, that's old fogey, but this is probably one of the coolest kinds of effects you can do. It gives you both the new and the old at the same time.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but now one of the things we're going to do is explain a little bit about how wall coverings actually work, okay? So this actually is called the bolt. That is what a wall covering comes in. And also, this is the face, which has the pattern, but the backing is our sort of synthetic, and it's pre-pasted, which means it's not wet on the back. Okay, this is actually dry adhesive, and we will use water to activate this. Now, one of the things that we're going to do right now is called the layout. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, one of the things that is really revolutionary about the way that I'm going to teach you how to use wall coverings here is that we're going to pre-figure out where every sheet's going to go. We're going to pre-cut the entire room.
No, wait. We cut the whole room
first? The entire room.
Oh, well, that's a new way to
Yeah. See, a lot of people, what they would do, even my grandfather, who's a hanger, cut one sheet at a time, up and down, up and down, up and oh my God, take him 10 days to do one room. We can literally hang the whole room in an hour and a half.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm not kidding. We're going to do about 20 rolls of wallpaper. That's approximately 60 sheets of paper. Now, another unique thing about this is how we're going to go about doing this. Now, you have very tall ceilings here. You actually have 9-foot ceilings. And we're going to go into how much paper a roll, we can get out of a roll, how much sheets and so forth.
Okay.
Now, what I want to show you here is everything we're about to do now in the layout is all based upon this right here. The wallpaper itself, the pattern and the width of the wallpaper. Now, off the bat, what we're going to do is the first thing we do is we're going to measure the width of our wall covering. In this case, this wall covering is 20.5 inches wide. That is from seam to seam, edge to edge. Now, another unique thing about this particular pattern is the fact that it has a pattern repeat. The pattern repeat, if we look at this little squiggly right here, and we measure down, you'll see the same little squiggly right here. This is referred to as the pattern repeat.
So it goes vertically.
Exactly. So, actually you can see it's right there. And this repeat is approximately 20.5 inches in drop, which means it goes from match to match, right?
All right.
Now, here's the next thing about this. This is what we call a straight across match. Now, it said that on your little sample on the back.
Yeah, I wondered what that meant. Okay.
Well, what that means is this flower here, there's a little missing part on this side, is exactly straight across on the other side. And that, when we put these two edges together from sheet 1 to sheet 2, this is what creates the pattern. It's what we call grid. Greater rhythm in design. It creates a grid on the wall. Now, this is a term and this is a technique we're going to use in cutting the paper and making sure that we're going to be able to match each sheet in sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to be able to cut it in the appropriate length. So that's what I want to show you now. I want to show you how we're going to physically figure out where every sheet's going to go, and then how to actually cut and measure it or actually measure it for the cut length, and then we're going to write it all down. And this will be our blueprint. This will be our guide to success. You know, we are just at the point we're going to start really cutting everything. And so now we're going to take all that information about the paper, and now is when the paper is really going to start to hit the wall. Now, we're going to figure out what every single piece of wallpaper is going to go before we actually hang it.
And how.
And how. I know. That's the great secret I'm about to share with you. And we're going to cut the entire room of wallpaper before we get one sheet up on the wall. Now, the way we're going to do that is we're actually going to find, this is our bedroom wall here, and we're going to put this as the master bed wall. So we're going to use this as an accent wall. I want to make sure that the pattern is going to be right in the middle, and so it dissects the room so the stripe is right in the middle. So here's what we're going to do. The first thing we need to do is measure the width of our entire room from corner to corner of this wall. Okay? In this case, this entire span of wall is exactly 192 inches. Now what I want you stay there. What I want to do is we're going to measure from your corner out to find the center. Let's see, half 192 is 96 inches. So what we're going to do is mark a little mark here at 96 inches. And now what we have is basically the center point of this wall. So what we're going to do now is taking our wallpaper, okay, I'm going to take this and we're going to set this seam, this stripe, which is what I've determined is the visual point of the room. I want to make sure this stripe is dead center, but we also have to worry about the pattern. So what we're going to do is take the center line and measure out the width, which is where the seam is going to go, and I'm going to put a little pencil mark. Then we're going to come over here to the other side and put a little pencil mark. Now here's the way to think about this, Janet. Anywhere you see a pencil mark is where the seam is going to fall. That's where the two pieces come together.
The seams, okay.
The white space in between is where the sheet is going to fall.
The sheet, which is, okay.
Is the actual length from floor to ceiling. See, when it's on the table and when it comes in out of the package, it's called the roll.
A roll.
But when we cut the sheet or cut the piece, it becomes the sheet. That's right. So now we've got that sort of figure, so we don't need that, but so what we're going to do now is take this little piece of paper here, and this is a quick little wizard way of marking out. Now we're going to take the piece and we're going to mark out right here, so we don't even, guess what, we don't need this anymore.
That's okay.
We're going to take that and just go mark, now pull tight, okay,
Mark.
we're going to come over here,
alright,
okay, and we're going to come over here, and we do a little pencil mark.
And then number that?
That's right. Now what we're going to do is we're working backwards. Now, I'm right-handed. Are you right-handed?
Yes.
Yes. You know what? It is easier for us to hang from left to right than it is from right to left.
Oh, so that's why you, okay.
Yeah, and so what we're doing is I wanted to find out where exactly the full sheet is going to start with. Now this is number one, this is our full sheet, and here's a little rule that we like to use. It's not really sort of written in blood or stone, but what I like to do is when I do my wallpapering, I try to minimize the amount of seams and maximize the amount of sheets. Right, because this is where a lot of work is actually matching, and this giving us the full width is going to cover more area quicker. Well, now we sort of know where we're going to start. If this is 1 and this is going to be our full sheet, then the next one would be number
2,
and next one
3,
number
4,
and so forth, all the way around the room. You need to actually measure the distance from the ceiling all the way to the baseboard. And I'm going to use my tape measure, and we're going to do this. Now, this actually is about 8 foot 8 inches in height. Okay, and you can actually see that 8 foot 8, but we can't cut it 8 foot 8.
Now, why is that?
Ah, very good question. You see, if we cut it exactly the height of the wall, and the ceiling and the floor actually are not quite in parallel to each other, we're going to get a gap. So here's a little wizard trick. We're going to add to this height a 2-inch overlap at the top and about a 2-inch overlap at the bottom. Okay, now we've got our measurements, right? And we need a blueprint for success. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a yellow legal pad and we're going to mark the room in which we are actually going to hang. In this case, we're going to hang this entire master bedroom. We are then going to write down the numbers that we need, all the numbers that correspond on the wall, number 1 through 10 on this wall, and we're going to actually go 11 through 40 to do the rest of it. There's a whole other area that we're going to hang together, right?
Every measurement for each?
Every single sheet. And the reason for that is to make sure we do not miss one sheet and they're in sequence, so when we cut it on the table. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to measure the height, okay, and I'm going to automatically add the 4 inches. Remember, height plus 4.
Okay.
I'm going to call that number out to you, and you're going to write it down in the appropriate slot, number 1, so forth. Now, we're going to measure every slot. I know this is all one big wall, but guess what? Ceilings and walls come up and down. Yeah, and let's say it's maybe 8 foot 8 over here, but it's 8 foot 9 over there.
Wow.
Yeah, and it can happen.
It can happen.
I've been there. So that's one of the reasons I want to measure, because I may say, okay, we need to now cut it 8 or 9 foot 1, because it's height plus 4. Height plus 4, height plus 4. You can't screw up with height plus 4. Again, we're going to measure like number 3. I'm going to measure again, and there's a good bet that it's, guess what, 8 foot 8, and so we write down 9 foot. So number 1 is 9 foot, number 2 is 9 foot, number 3 would be 9 foot. Okay, we're coming around from that main wall, and so that was 1 through 10. Well, right here is number 11, because we're coming into this little like entry nook area for your bedroom. Well, one of the things we're going to do is measure from floor to ceiling. In this case, I've already measured it. It is 9 foot. That's the height plus 4 inches, right? Then that's number 11, so write down number 11, 9-0.
Okay.
Okay, on this we have number 12, but we have windows in
How do
12,
we do this?
13, 14, 15. Well, we're going to break this into two pieces.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and part of the reason we do that is because we don't want to hang a full sheet right through the window.
Right.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
it's a lot of waste. And it's a problem because not only now if I hack off the top, you have this big piece of paper go plop right down on my head.
A lot of waste.
Yeah,
That's
so we're going to do all the cutting downstairs, and we're going to actually cut the piece. So how do you do
So
this?
two cuts from at the top,
Yeah.
one for the top and one for the
Yeah,
bottom?
two sheets.
Two sheets.
Now this is slot 12, but we're going to do two pieces.
Okay.
We're going to do a 12A.
Oh.
What do you think?
For
A?
above.
Above, that's exactly right. And from top to bottom, from the ceiling to the molding, it is 10 inches.
Okay.
So let's see, height plus 4, so we're going to write down how many inches? 14 inches is 12A. Okay? So then let's go down to the bottom here. 12B, let's see, from baseboard to the bottom is about 42 inches. Let's see, 42 plus 4.
46.
Bingo. And that is what 12B is.
Okay.
Okay? Here in slot underneath, which is 12B, it's actually 42 inches. So what are you going to write down?
46.
That's it. And we're going to continue doing the same thing here. So 13A is 14, 13B is
46.
right, and 14. 14A is
46.
Okay, and that's it. 14B and so forth and so on. So
Okay.
we're all of a sudden now we're at 15A and B, so that'd be 14 and 46,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so 23 is again height plus 4, so that's 9. But now if you notice, I have written down on your piece of paper 23T. You see, we're going to take a piece of paper and wrap it inside here so that we can get the wallpaper to go on this plane and that plane. And by the way, so I need 23T to be exactly 22 inches off the top. Okay, so 22 inches T.
Off the top.
That's
and that
it.
allows for the wraparound?
The wraparound, which we're
Okay.
going to show. Very good terminology. That's excellent.